another thing about minimum wage that we have to understand, people are all upset about corporations, especially Walmart. They're taking a lot of heat, and maybe justifiably so. I shop there sometimes. People seem to be working there or something like working. Some are go-getters. Some aren't such hard workers. But, hey, corporations have a tough nut to crack. They got a lot of overhead, and most of it's bullshit. They have to keep at least one attorney on retainer because they never know what law is going to come after them next. They have to have insurance. They have minimum wage. They have these other issues that they have to deal with. And they're all artificially imposed overhead that doesn't do anything for the bottom line. I mean, it takes away from the bottom line. And I'm not an economist, okay? I'm just a guy. I'm a working man. I've been around the world, seen a lot of things, an industrial electrician, refrigeration mechanic. I'm a technician, musician, writer, law student. I've been studying law for 15 years now. I've drafted federal court complaints, never filed in federal court, but I sure would like to. I've got a couple of complaints that are there's no statute on fraud, and I was defrauded in Texas and in Oregon. So, just a note. We'll edit this out. minimum wage. If the job is worth doing, if it's worth getting it done, it's worth paying for. Some people are greedy assholes. Okay, look, they go out there and they want to pay somebody. I worked for a guy once, and not too long ago, a couple years ago. He was paying, I think he was paying $12 an hour, $12.50, but I needed money. I really did, and the job was kind of hard work. We were polishing terracotta tile out on some luxury palatial mansion by the swimming pool, and I slipped on this acidic cleaner that we were using and tore my left rotator cuff. And of course I don't have insurance because I'm an independent, and I don't like the allopathic white coat medicine system anyway. That hurt for quite a while, about 8 months. Now I've got my left shoulder back. I can do everything I need to do. It's not right. My right shoulder was separated in a martial arts training. Again, no medical insurance. I'm kind of banged up. I'm in my 60s. It happens when you live a fun life, and I've had a great time. Anyway, just another thought on the minimum wage. These corporations are being artificially strapped with a bunch of bull, and it costs them dearly, and they got to pass the savings on to the consumer. I mean, who else is going to pay for it? So corporations, I don't know, this is another lawyer trick. I'm not sure what the benefit of corporations are. They always tell us, I say they, I mean them, the guys running the world, and they're salesmen, the lawyers and makers, tell us that, it's going to be so bitchin', life is going to be so groovy, it's going to be so good when you just do this. I'm sure we told the Indians that when we got here from over there, you're going to love us, we're just so kind and friendly, yeah, help us to survive right at first year, and we'll be your friends forever, we'll show you how to train your dogs, I don't know what, and then we put smallpox in their blankets. There's a lot Americans don't know, that they don't know. I'm losing friends because of my vocal style of saying, hey, wake up, man, we got problems, we're under attack. They're trying to enslave the entire planet, and they got most of us. 90% of Americans or more have no clue. They don't want to know. They're afraid. I had one Facebook friend who I've known for 35 years. He's angry. He sent me a scathing Facebook comment. You're really making me angry with all these things. You dope-smoking hippies, is what he called me. I guess that's a compliment. I don't know where he got the inflection or the indication that I smoke dope. Because I support cannabis to be legal? Maybe. That could have given him that idea that I'm a dope-smoking hippie. Or that I care about the future of the planet. I know he does too, and so does his wife, because they have children, and of course you want your children to grow up on a healthy, happy planet, right? Where you're not lobbing bombs at each other and blowing blow torches, in the bathroom windows where your kids are bathing, things like that. So you know what's happening? He's hearing a truth that he doesn't want to know. Unfortunately, I'm afraid he heard it, and now he's going, what the whiskey tango foxtrot is going on? This can't be true. What? 9/11? Demolition job? What? No airplane hit the Pentagon? What? Dollars aren't real? What? Fractional reserve banking? That's another issue we'll talk more about. So now I'm going to go on fractional reserve banking a little bit. This is another little lesson. So we'll start out with the shades, right? Take one, fractional reserve banking. Howdy everybody, McFloyd here again. Today we're going to talk about fractional reserve banking. Have you heard of it? Most Americans haven't got a clue how it works. But since there is no money, and there hasn't been since early 1900s, 1930, a little earlier, I don't have the specific dates in front of me, but I will get them if you need them. Look up fractional reserve banking. Look up House Joint Resolution 192 if you want to. That's an eye-opener. When the American government went bankrupt. This is when the United States became a big name. The Federal Reserve was ushered in. And since then, check this. When we go in to apply for a loan, our signature on the application for the loan, the loan documentation, I guess we could say the closing documents, whether it's an auto loan, a personal loan, personal line of credit, a mortgage on your house, whatever you're buying, the new airplane, the boat, whatever. When you sign that name on the dotted line, you sign your name on that dotted line, what happens is some bankster's minion, some bank employee somewhere, I guess, makes an entry of, let's say I took out $1 million note for a new home. So they go and make an entry, $1 million, note number, blah, blah. They put the details around this note, and now they have an obligation based on your signature that you're going to pay them the amount of the note plus interest. And that now they have automatically created out of thin air $1 million in their bank. And due to fractional reserve banking, a bank with AAA credit can now loan out up to 10 times that $1 million. So now they have $10 million of liquidity, so to speak. And I'm probably using the wrong terms. I don't care. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a CPA. These are just the facts. Okay? And if you do your research, you'll find that if you need help, put it in the comments down there below, and we'll follow it up from there. I'm welcoming comments because there's a lot to talk about. Fractional reserve banking. So you create the value is in your signature and your promise to pay. Now the bank has your promise. I'm gonna pay you $1 million for this mortgage, for this so-called deed of some sort. Talk more about that mortgage fraud that's happening across America now, because they're not filing these properly, and the wrong kind of deeds are being handled. A allodial title is what we want, but we don't get that when we buy a piece of property. Even if you shelled out, let's say you bought an acre someplace out in the wood in Montana, and the guy wanted $5,000, and you went up there with $5,001 bills or 50 and handed it to him, went down to the county recorders. Guess what? You're not going to get a allodial title to that land. You're going to get some note, some title. And frankly, at this moment, I can't remember what it's called because I got too many other things on my mind. That's not the subject. But you don't get the title to the land, so therefore you still have to pay rent to the state in the form of taxes. And that's a whole other issue for another day, but the fractional reserve banking is true. There is no money. All the changes are digits on some ledger, a digital ledger someplace that represents a promise to pay. That enriches the bank. Now they have 10 times or 6 times if they don't have good credit ratings. They can go out and loan 6 times that amount. It's scary, and Americans don't know what we have here. What we have here is smoke and mirrors. It's a dog and pony show up there on the television, radio. I was listening to a supposedly right-wing Christian show the other day, and God, the propaganda they were feeding us listening. The problem is, once the bell has been rung, you can't unring it. And the bell was rung in me back in 1999 or so. My son was 3 years old, and I realized, if I'm a slave, How heavy are my son's chains going to be when he grows up? I've got to do something. Do something. Do something. Tell your friends to wake up and do something. Look, call your congressman. Get involved. Make some comments here. If you object, fine. Tell me what your problem is. What you think I'm full of whatever? That's fine. We'll start getting specific with citations and law. These are introductory videos. I'm new at this, but I had to do something. People don't want to hear this locally. My friends are tired of hearing it. They call the persona, this persona, they call me that guy. Oh, here's that guy again. He's talking about constitutionality. Oh, he's talking about his rights. Oh, he's talking about the thieving, lying feds and the banksters, the fraud that's going on. But you know what? we gotta get this out in the open, or we're all gonna die slaves. So adios. See you next time.